Hello, everyone. Leave behind the heavy burden of the world, for you have climbed to a height where only truth can survive. Here, upon the peak of Atlas, the air is thin and sacred, cleansed by the touch of the stars. Look down at the rolling sea of clouds beneath your feet. It masks the clamor, the hallows, and the frantic pace of the life you once knew. At this altitude, the great struggles of kings and the small anxieties of the day dissolve into an immense and perfect silence. You have reached the summit of your own being. Stand with me now, far above the restless tides of fortune, and prepare to witness the universe as it truly is, vast, eternal, and profoundly at peace. Welcome to the peak. Welcome to the clarity of the heights.
The Peak of Atlas. You have climbed far, traveler. You have traveled more than most people will accomplish throughout their entire existence. You stand now upon the Peak of Atlas, which serves as the highest point of the ancient world because it connects the Earth's core with the celestial realm. The air at this extreme height has undergone a transformation. The air exists in a state of thinness, which extends beyond its basic form, because it has been purified through its journey across numerous layers of rock and air until only its fundamental elements remained. Every breath you take contains cold, pure air, which has a faint flavor of stars and distant things that create a perfect lung experience which no valley has ever provided. The area contains silence which differs from the silence found in deserted areas. The space contains no sound because all noise has stopped. This is the primordial silence that existed before the first word was ever spoken, before the first footfall echoed in the first cave. The space creates a silence which exists between two dimensions because it maintains complete silence throughout its entire expanse. Your ears, so accustomed to the ceaseless murmur of the world below, may ring slightly with the strangeness of it. The ringing sound gradually disappears, which lets you perceive an internal stillness that exists beneath everything and the expansive silent space which contains all sounds. The space behind you, together with the space below you, presents an unending cloud ocean which extends across all visible horizons. The cloud cover entirely hides the world you departed, which includes all urban areas and transportation routes and natural spaces and water bodies, and all ancient civilizations and their remaining structures. The cloud sea creates invisible wave movements which result in vapor valleys and hills that resemble the landforms of a dream country because of the winds that remain undetectable at this altitude. The highest points of smaller mountains emerge from the white sea like dark islands which float above the ocean, yet these points remain beneath your current location. You have surpassed all others who existed before you. The temperature creates a deep cold which reaches extreme levels, yet it lacks the dangerous coldness that characterizes winter weather. The coldness present here represents pure, clean coldness, which originates from high altitudes and distant locations that lack any trace of waste or deteriorated objects. The eternal presence of time directly touches your face with its unending existence, which offers neither harshness nor affection to you. Your body remains motionless. After it reached the highest point of your continuous upward journey, the muscles that worked against gravity now experience their moment of respite. The lungs which struggled to breathe in increasingly sparse air now operate at a slower and deeper breathing pattern. Your heart, which has functioned as your constant life rhythm since your first moments, now operates at a reduced speed, which aligns with the peaceful atmosphere that exists around you. The space behind you extends toward every horizon to create an infinite ocean that covers all areas below. The surface of the world you abandoned exists under complete white light, which emits from a material that maintains perfect smoothness. The hidden world underneath the unbroken surface includes all cities and roads and forests and rivers and empires and ruins. The cloud sea rises and falls in imperceptible waves, which winds create at this height through invisible movements that produce vapor valleys and hills, which resemble the landscape of a dreamland. The dark peaks of smaller mountains show through the white sea like dark islands, but even these peaks remain at a lower height than your current position. You have achieved the highest point of existence above all others. The temperature is cold, profoundly cold, but it does not bite with the malice of winter's chill. This cold area maintains a pure, clean state because it exists at high altitudes which block all forms of environmental contamination. Your face experiences the touch of eternal existence, which appears as a permanent reality that exists without any form of compassion or cruelty. Your body stands at complete rest after carrying you through this endless uphill journey. The muscles that strained against gravity have found their rest. The lungs that labored in the thinning air have discovered a slower, deeper rhythm. Your heart, which has continuously beat since your earliest memories, now operates at a slower pace that matches the peacefulness of your present environment. The emperor and philosopher Marcus Aurelius recorded his personal thoughts about this matter in his private journals. He would sit in his military tent on some distant frontier of the vast Roman Empire, and he would imagine himself climbing up to the highest point, which allowed him to observe all human activities spread out before him. From that height, the writer explained, the major conflicts of history showed up as minor conflicts between soldiers. The great cities existed as nothing more than small groups of buildings. Men killed to protect their reputations while they plotted to gain wealth and maintain their feuds for many years. But all their efforts showed themselves to be temporary and unimportant when compared to the endless expanse of time, space. You exist at this moment in reality, which allows you to reach your current height. You are safe from the world's noisy activities, which include urgent tasks at this location. The voices requesting your focus, the screens which display constant updates, the timed duties and upcoming obligations, and all other requirements, have now moved below the cloud line, which makes them unable to reach this high protected area. You remember an important thing in this place. You exist as something more than your job duties and your life troubles and the expectations which other people place upon you. The clouds move at a slow pace while they fly past you, and their surfaces reflect the faintest light which comes from the stars that shine above. The movement shows the full pattern of all empires which began and vanished throughout human history. The Babylonians and the Persians and the Greeks and the Romans and the many kingdoms which history has completely forgotten all reached their peak moment of historical significance. All of them believed that they would exist forever, yet all other people vanished from existence like mist which the sunlight dissolved. The mountain stands unmoved. The stars maintain their traditional movement throughout the celestial sphere. This peaceful silence, which exists in deep stillness, continues to persist. Slow your breathing down now, traveler. Your breathing needs to match the natural pace which exists at this elevated location that connects the land with the sky. Inhale the pure coldness which exists at high altitudes. exhale everything which still links you to the lower world. Each breath you exhale helps you to release yet another minor burden which you do not need to carry. The body which you currently use possesses knowledge of this process. The body has maintained its breathing function since your birth, and it will keep breathing even without your active monitoring. You can watch the old process at this moment because you gained fresh knowledge. The process starts when air first enters the body. The process concludes when air reaches its exit point. Breathing creates a perfect pause, which functions as a microcycle of dying and living that every individual goes through during their entire existence. Your eyes have grown used to the darkness of the summit. The sun slipped below the western edge of the sea of clouds long ago, yet the night here never feels fully dark. There is a soft glow to everything, as if light rises from the air itself, from the snow resting on the highest rocks, from the immense curve of the sky arching overhead. And when you lift your gaze upward, leaving even the clouds far below you, are met with a sight that has stopped the hearts of travelers, mystics, and philosophers since the very beginning of human awareness. The stars. But not the stars you know from valleys and cities, those few dim points struggling to break through haze and artificial light. Here, at the peak of Atlas, where the air is thin and clear and offers almost no resistance to the light of distant suns, you see them as they truly are. The sky is not simply dotted with stars, it is overflowing with them. They fill the darkness in countless layers, stretching back through distances and spans of time the mind can barely comprehend. The Milky Way is no faint band here, but a flowing river of light, so rich with stars that they merge into glowing clouds, brushing the heavens with silver, white, and the faintest hint of blue. Here are the constellations the ancients named, the shapes they used to find their way and to tell their stories. Orion, the great hunter, still keeps watch, his belt of 3 bright stars as precise as when the first human eyes traced their pattern. Castor and Pollux shine side by side, the inseparable twins of myth. And there is the Great Bear, turning endlessly around the pole star, that steady anchor in the spinning sky. These patterns have hung above us since before we learned to give them names, and they will remain long after the last human voice has fallen silent and our civilizations have faded into dust. The ancient Stoics looked up at these same stars and saw in them proof of the Logos, which functioned as the rational principle that controlled all things in the universe. The universe exists as an organized, unified system which establishes specific functions for all its components. The people developed a conviction which burned in their hearts, like the stars themselves, about their connection to the great order which existed in the universe. We do not exist as outsiders to the universe because we do not exist as beings who observe from outside the universe. The universe exists as a self-aware being which observes itself. The universe has achieved self-awareness which allows it to experience wonder about its own greatness. The traveler should consider this while he stands beneath this vast sky. The iron in your blood was forged in the core of an exploding star billions of years ago. Stars produced the calcium which forms your bones, and supernovae distributed this material throughout space. All the elements that compose your body, and all the elements that compose your breath, originated from the nuclear processes that occur inside dying stars. Your existence extends beyond your physical presence on Earth. Your existence extends beyond your physical presence beneath the sky. Your body exists as a physical manifestation of stellar materials. You are a temporary arrangement of cosmic matter which has developed self-awareness and the ability to think and feel and wonder about its existence. Your temporary arrangement as a star-stuffing conscious being now exists at the highest point of the world, which enables you to observe your original source and your fundamental essence and the immense collection of light that created you and which you will ultimately return to. The distance between you and those stars is vast beyond human comprehension. Light itself, traveling at its impossible speed, takes years and centuries and millennia to cross the gulfs that separate you from them. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The two of you exist as distinct entities, yet they share one common essence. The philosophers of the Stoa taught that we should align ourselves with nature, that we should understand our place in the cosmic order, and live in harmony with it rather than in opposition to it. But what is nature? Here, at this height, you begin to understand. Nature exists as more than the Earth's trees and rivers and animals, although those elements form part of its existence. Nature exists as the complete range of physical laws which control both planetary movements and rainfall patterns, the seasonal pattern and the cycle which brings life and death. The geological time movement shows slow geological time progress, which includes mountain erosion and continent drift. The universe includes all things, including the astronomical phenomenon of stellar explosions, which lead to galaxy creation. The universe includes all things, including the astronomical phenomenon of stellar explosions, which lead to galaxy creation. Your existence includes all aspects of this universe, which exists at your core as fundamental to your being. Your existence includes all aspects of this universe, which exists at your core as fundamental to your being. The act of aligning yourself with nature requires you to stay in civilization instead of moving into the untouched natural world, while the latter option holds value. You need to comprehend your current situation within the natural hierarchy while you should embrace what needs acceptance. You need to take action when required, but first, you must learn to recognize which situations need your intervention and which ones need your non-intervention. The system enables you to observe which aspects you can govern, which include your thoughts and judgments and reactions and choices, while you see the aspects that remain beyond your authority, which include other people's activities and changes in luck and death and the operations of destiny. The Stoics called this the fundamental distinction, which leads to liberation from all unnecessary suffering after someone understands it. The stars will deliver this lesson to you at this current moment. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. The stars maintain their original identity without battling against their inherent characteristics. Everything in existence exists according to cosmic laws, which the stars accept without any opposition. They show a celestial indifference, which represents their total involvement in the cosmic system. The process of their burning produces all the essential elements which sustain life on Earth. The process of their dying results in the distribution of future world seeds, which will grow into new worlds. The stars achieve their purpose not through efforts to transform into different beings, but through their complete manifestation of their authentic essence. The traveler who stands before you possesses a personal identity. Your existence constitutes a link between the universal order and its ultimate destiny. Your contribution to the whole exists as an essential element which identicals your role to the function of a star. The Stoics believed that each human being exists as a thread which weaves through the tapestry of fate, and that even the smallest thread must remain intact to preserve the complete structure. Your existence matters. Your connection to the cosmos proves your worth because you exist as part of everything. Your existence demonstrates your connection to the pattern without need of your struggle to achieve success. Now experience the mountain which exists below your feet. This ancient stone emerged from the Earth's core through unknown forces and has withstood all human civilizations which have risen and fallen throughout millions of years of wind and ice. The Earth existed before human beings developed their ability to stand. The Earth will remain here until humans either change into a new species or disappear from the planet. The Earth will exist forever now. You currently stand at the highest point of the mountain, which supports your body while you observe the view which brings you deep peace and watch the vastness of the sky. The ancient people understood this belief. Your physical existence contains the mountain within your body. Everything you see outside yourself exists as a reflection of what exists inside you. Your mountain peak ascent through rock and air represents the mental peak which exists within your personal consciousness. You can ascend above physical world clouds because you have already risen beyond them. You can rise above your current state, which blocks your inner vision through mental and emotional clouds. Your mind exists as an extensive area which resembles the visible area that you currently observe. The valleys of the area serve as locations where people store their anxieties. The area has a forest where people become trapped because their thoughts form dense and confusing patterns. The area features emotional rivers that flow at two speeds, which include peaceful and stormy. The area contains expansive memory fields, which extend toward faraway locations. The area contains elevated areas which function as mountain ranges throughout the mind that allow you to ascend above the mental mists and clouds to reach direct understanding while remaining in a quiet state which blocks out all. Non-essential sounds. The Stoics described their concept of hegemonikon, which functions as the inner governing body which controls all human psychological work. They described the self as an internal fortress which remains unchanged by outside forces which bring different fortunes to life. This is your inner peak, traveler. Your highest mental state exists at this location because you can watch your thoughts and feelings from this place just as you now see the world beyond the clouds. You are not your thoughts. This may sound simple at first, almost ordinary, yet once it is truly understood, it changes the way you see everything. Thoughts arise within consciousness the way clouds form in a clear sky. They appear, they move, they transform, and eventually they fade away. But the sky itself is never altered by their presence. It remains open, vast, and untouched. That sky is you. You are not the storm passing through your mind, not the noise, not the turbulence. You are the mountain beneath it all, steady and unmoved. Weather comes and goes across its surface, wind, rain, snow, yet the mountain does not resist any of it. It does not struggle. In the same way, you do not need to fight your thoughts or suppress your emotions. Let them arise, let them exist for as long as they need to, and then let them pass. Observe them calmly, from a distance, as a mountain watches a storm move across the horizon. They cannot harm what you truly are, because they never reach the observer itself.
Your breathing pattern continues its gradual pace, which resembles the old natural rhythm of life that moves through your body. The body performs breathing functions without needing any assistance from you. The heart maintains its rhythm while blood flows through the body, and all cellular functions operate according to their natural rhythms which require no active supervision. The human body exists as a separate universe which operates through its own defined rules that mirror how stars exist. You have no requirement to oversee it. You have no requirement to dominate it. You must live inside it and stay there while you observe its functions through soft concentration and belief in its ancient knowledge. The cold air on your skin now feels less like temperature and more like presence, like the touch of the infinite, like a reminder of where you are and what you are part of. Your face and your hands and any exposed skin areas become points of connection that show how your inner body heat meets the outside world, while the boundaries of your personal identity begin to dissolve. The universe keeps its existence open to you. You are not a separate thing confronting other separate things. You exist as a process that manifests as an event which exists, temporarily, through which universal energy flows through you at all times, entering with each exhalation, with each breath, and departing with each breath and departing. The stars have moved their positions from their original paths since your arrival at this peak. The constellations have shifted their positions by degrees so small as to be imperceptible to the casual glance. But shift they have, continuing their ancient rotation around the celestial pole. Time exists in this location. The great river of time keeps flowing through this space of deep silence. The flow here moves with such serenity that the current stops feeling like a force which pulls you against your will, and it turns into a peaceful stream which allows you to rest while being moved through natural progress. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote that time is a river of passing events, and strong is its current. Things are brought into being, and almost before we can see them, they are carried past us and others take their place, and these too will be swept away. He wrote this text because he felt no despair or bitterness. He wrote it with acceptance, with understanding, with the recognition that this is simply the nature of existence in time. People who try to hold on to the present moment discover that their efforts to grasp it lead to its faster departure from them. You can touch the water's coolness and wetness and essential nature through your fingers when you allow it to flow through your open hands. The patterns which exist throughout human existence demonstrate that people experience their life events. The events of existence, which bring people happiness or suffering, success or failure in human evaluation, will show up and then leave because they come and go for their own time. The only thing that stays the same throughout existence is the conscious mind, which exists beyond all worldly situations while observing everything that occurs in life. The final moment of existence brings about the last transformation which ends all existence. The Stoics did not fear it. The practice required them to think about death every day, while they learned to understand it through logical reasoning. The Stoics explain that death represents a basic return of all things to their original element, which leads to the disintegration of temporary forms into the fundamental material which creates them. Your atomic components will persist. Your body will maintain its active energy. Everything undergoes a transformation process which results in a complete change without any elements vanishing. You originated from start any elements vanishing. The truth here at the highest point of the world becomes beautiful and liberating because it exists under a billion suns. Your existence becomes greater through your connection to something so ancient and vast and beautiful that your life, with its minor events and worries, now finds its appropriate place within the totality of existence. Your existence holds significance because you belong to the larger design. You can ease your need to be important through all available methods. The wind, which has maintained its silence since your arrival, now begins to move. The wind creates a soft breeze which flows through the summit as a gentle sound. The air carries only the pure scent of heightened distance and stone. The air touches your face with a sanctifying power which shows the universe has recognized your existence at this boundary between earth and heaven. You experience a release from your entire body because someone touches your body. The knot of tension which you have been carrying since birth begins to fade away from your body. Your shoulders drop slightly, releasing toward the earth. Your jaw unclenches. The small furrow between your brows smooths away. The wise body of the creature knows how to release its unnecessary burdens. The creature has remained in place because it needs to wait until it becomes safe to stop being alert and to stop defending itself against danger, while it releases its built-up stress. The mountain peak at Atlas provides a location where it can completely relax because of the mountains supporting the force of the mountains supporting the force of gravity and the momentary requirement to simply exist. the stars continue their slow dance. The Milky Way stretches across the sky like a bridge connecting different realms, and it resembles a river, and it realms, and it resembles a cross. Epictetus, the Stoic who was born a slave and became one of philosophy's greatest teachers, taught that we should be like travelers staying at an inn. The inn belongs to other people and we do not have ownership rights to any part of it. The inn belongs to other people and we do not have ownership rights to any part of it. We are simply guests, passing through, using what we need for as long as we need it, and then moving on without complaint when the time comes to leave. Everything in life operates according to this same principle. Your body is an inn you inhabit temporarily. Your relationships, your circumstances all are borrowed for a time, to be used with gratitude while they last and released without grief when they pass. You now exist in the highest inn of the world, which stands at this point where earth connects to sky. The stars are your ceiling. The clouds are your floor. The infinite silence is your chamber. And you can rest here, deeply, completely, without reservation, because you understand that you are exactly where you need to be. Exactly when you need to be here, neither too early nor too late, but precisely synchronized with the unfolding pattern of the cosmos itself. Your breathing has become so slow, so subtle, that you almost cannot feel it anymore. The boundary between breathing and not breathing has grown thin. Perhaps you are being breathed by something larger than yourself, by the mountain, by the sky, by the universe itself. Your breathing exists as the only energy which moves through your body after your essence has left your physical form. The inner peak and the outer peak have merged. You cannot tell anymore where the mountain ends and you begin. The stone beneath your feet feels less like something separate that supports you and more like a deeper, older version of your own skeleton, the ancient bones of the earth from which your own bones are temporary borrowings. Your mind creates the stars above as your own conscious awareness, which extends through infinite space to make contact with everything while existing everywhere and having wherein. The mystical experience exists as the philosopher's ultimate goal to achieve, while their philosophers seek to establish the ultimate truth about reality. You exist outside the universe. You exist outside the mountain. You exist outside the starry sky. The prepositions create a path that separates two things because they separate the speaker from what they observe. People use language to create a division between two things which exists as a basic part of human experience. The present moment brings forth a direct experience which displays an unbroken state of existence that manifests itself through mountain, sky, and star in the specific way of seeing all things. Your mind should reach this state of understanding. Your separate identity should disappear completely through the process of letting go. The situation has reached a point where there is no more need to guard or defend or protect anything. The concept that you exist as a distinct being who needs to stay alert because the world poses constant threats to your safety, which you must control, represents a fabricated mental load that you do not require. You can let it go now. You can release the burden of your past identity, which feels as heavy as a winter coat that you need to take off because the weather has changed to springtime. This state of existence after the false self has vanished does not result in an empty state. It is not absence or void or extinction. All things that exists in the universe exist as the remaining existence. The existing state of things shows existence itself in the state of things in the continuous state of awareness, which has existed since the beginning of time and which only the clouds of thought and the identification with everything temporary and transient have hidden from view. The awareness exists without beginning and will exist without ending. The thing has existed without distress and will remain unchanged forever. The space exists where all experiences begin and the silence exists, which contains all sounds, and the stillness exists at the center of all movements. You exist in the state of awareness which you currently experience. The body, which serves as a reliable companion, has reached the point where it completely rests against the earth's surface. The breath operates with such softness that it seems like deep sleep breathing, while the mind stays awake and understands everything while it watches its own restful state with gentle love. The ancient meditation practice exists for this purpose because people who practice it want to obtain enlightenment. The ancient practice of meditation exists as the final destination of philosophical life. The ancient of philosophical life. The night deepens around you, though around is not quite correct because you exist as part of the night. You exist as the night which has attained self-awareness. You exist as the dark space which contains shining stars and the quiet space that holds future possibilities and the immense empty area where planets revolve and stars ignite and entire galaxy groups move through the empty space. Your existence as this entity grants you access to both the minute details in the vast universe, which includes every breath that passes through these particular lungs and every bit of heat that exists in this particular body and every moment of awareness that occurs at this exact position in space and time. You exist as both entities. You exist as both entities. You exist as both the endless and the limited existence of your being, and you possess everything that connects all things to your singular self, things that exist outside of time and space. Through his meditations, Marcus Aurelius advised out of time and space. He maintained both realities at once because he refused to allow one reality to eliminate the other reality. You must follow this path. When you leave this highest point and return to the area beneath the clouds, you will continue your existing pattern of life, which includes specific duties and people you must connect with. The height of this place will remain in your mind along with the knowledge you gained from this viewpoint and the peace you discovered here. Your memory will serve as a base point which provides safety and serves as your mental summit that you can reach any time you need to escape the turbulent turbule. The descent needs to wait until a future time. At this moment, which exists as the present doorway to infinite time, you remain at the highest point of the world. You exist between earth and heaven, which holds you, while you breathe eternal existence and observe the stars that move in slow motion above you. The mountain breathes underneath you. You experience everything while you exist as nothing. You exist into states. Your current existence operates at a level beyond the basic definition of life, which you had accepted until this moment. The boundary between waking and sleeping grows thin. You might have crossed the boundary without realizing it. People normally experience a gradual movement from one state to another without realizing they have reached a boundary point. The philosophers asked, what is the difference between life and death, between waking and sleep, between one moment and the next? All transformations in existence change the pattern which creates waves that move through binsense. You now exist as the deep ocean which remains hidden under the surface. The surface will behave according to its nature. The mind may produce thoughts, or it may choose not to do so. The mind can either concentrate or let its focus spread out. The body has two options. It can either enter sleep or stay awake in its current state of deep rest. None of it matters because none of it affects the essential you, the witnessing presence, the awareness that simply is, regardless of what appears within it. The stars begin their fading process because your eyes have started to close, which causes you to look at the darkness behind your closed eyelids, as if it were the same endless space which exists above us. The distinction between inside and outside space has disappeared. The inner universe which exists within human minds matches the outer universe which reaches beyond the visible limits of space. The light which you observed in the stars which brightens your inner space of self-awareness. The single light exists as one consciousness which creates multiple forms of awareness. You should take your rest in that complete state of existence. You should rest in the understanding that the entire universe holds you up while all its particles create an unbreakable bond with you which connects you to all existing matter because your existence forms an essential part of the universe that binds everything together. You should rest in the peace which goes beyond human comprehension because this peace exists. Because this peace exists before the mind attempts to create understanding which exists deeper than thought and more essential than feeling in the peace which exists as the natural state of exists, as the natural state of exists, as the natural state of exists, as the nat. The mountain which exists beneath your feet represents the mountain that exists inside you, which serves as the unending foundation of your existence. The stars which exist above you represent the stars which exist inside you to remove all boundaries of existence through their endless shining, which forms the fundamental elements of your mind's inner workings. The surrounding silence represents the inner silence of your existence, which extends as the infinite stillness that serves as the infinite stillness that serves as the origin and destination of all things created. Your home has always existed in this place. Your existence has always restricted you to this single location. You have not reached this point through your travels to this peak which serves as your final destination. Your true self exists in this present moment. Your true self has existed in this place since the beginning of time. The process of total letting go becomes possible when you realize and accept your authentic identity. You should stop trying to grasp things through your mind. You should stop trying to stay awake. You should stop trying to stay awake. You should stop your efforts to keep your identity separate from others. The final remaining parts of personal awareness should vanish into collective consciousness. This process resembles a watered rock returning to the ocean and a breath that disappears into the limitless. Then to the limitless sphere and a musical note that vanishes is into the limitless hemisphere. traveler should now seek sleep at this location, which represents both the highest point of their personal existence and the highest point of all existence. The mountains sleep with their geological time dreams. The stars sleep between their long burning periods. The cosmos exists in its vast moments which separate the destruction of one universe from the birth of another universe. The person sleeps in an eternal state of existence which provides infinite peace through divine protection of all sound and the complete absence of all light. The person sleeps. The act of sleeping causes the person to forget everything. The person who remembers nothing achieves a state of being all things. The person who possesses everything discovers inner tranquility, which existed before in the place they had never abandoned in the knowledge which remained concealed, but was accessible through common sight, yet was forgotten and has always existed at the top of Atlas Mountain and at the highest mountain and has always existed